What are you doing, Mark Allen?
Making some eggs and Mickey waffles.
Mickey waffles.
Yep.
Look at that. Whisking like a fiend. Oh, look at the little waffle you made. Isn't that fresh? So beautiful.
Almost done.
That one's not as beautiful.
It's not quite done yet.
Hello, my name is Kayla.
And I'm Mark Allen.
And this is our channel. This is where we talk about all things Disney, as well as how to plan your Walt Disney World vacation. So if that is something that interests you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. Okay, so as a lot of you know, or may not know, we just got back from our Walt Disney World vacation just a couple weeks ago, and we stayed at Pop Century Resort for this trip. We have some kind of mixed feelings about that resort that we are going to share with you today. So this is our Pop Century Resort review.
Yeah.
If you missed our room tour video, I will go ahead and link that up above. We actually got lucky and we were able to stay in a preferred pool view king bed room.
Yeah.
So if you missed that, check that video out. Okay, so overall, I would say Pop is a good option for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It is not probably a resort that I would stay at every time, and we'll kind of explain why in this video. When we first walked in, the first thing that we noticed was how good it smells in the lobby. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now, okay, if you're somebody that is familiar with Disney, Disney is known to pump scents into the air in a lot of different places, be it on rides, in resorts, or like down Main Street, things like that.
Yeah.
But there was just something about the smell that it was like this really like kind of almost fruity but kind of perfumey smell, and it was so good.
Yeah.
With Pop Century, they have the gift shop and they have their food court. So where you eat is basically like a big, almost like a cafeteria.
Yeah, it's called Everything Pop.
Yes, and I will say one nice thing, the gift shop was really cool. The gift shop is amazing. Like they have some really unique stuff. You can kind of sorta-ish see it, that little Rubik's Cube we got from there. I thought that was a really neat thing, which again, if you missed our haul video, check that out. I'll also link that above. But we found some really unique souvenirs as well as pins. So at Disney World you can do a lot of pin trading, and we have found that you can find better pins at the resorts than you do the parks because there's not as many people pin trading at the resorts. So we actually got a lot of really neat pins from there. And then as far as the food court, we only ate there twice. Yeah, we ate there twice. So we ate there one night late at night because we needed a snack, so we got some pizza. So late at night they just have a few snacks. The whole food court is not open, but they'll have a few things. So we had some pizza, and then we ate there for like a kind of like a lunch on our last day. So we were able to get like more stuff because they had more things available. The food was okay.
Yeah.
It was very...
It was good. I mean, It wasn't,
like, there was nothing that was gross. Yeah. I did not have anything that I was like, oh, this is terrible. But it wasn't like, yeah, I'm gonna pay for this meal or whatever. Luckily, we still had some dining credits, so we didn't pay for it. But it was just one of those things that, I don't know. I would have been a little more disappointed if I knew that I was paying out of pocket for that meal. So, yeah, so food, I'd say, was pretty mediocre. It's really nice that they are open late. They are open till midnight.
At least when we were there,
No, they are. They're open till midnight every day, which is really nice. So if you're coming back from the parks really late and you're needing food, it can sometimes be a little hard to find food at Disney World when everything is closed. So that was nice that they did at least have that option. But at the same time, it's not something that I'd be like, let's head over to that Pop Century food court because that sounds great. You know, it's fine. The overall aesthetic of the resort?
I liked it. I didn't have any issues with it. It was super clean. And I think part of that is just because it was recently renovated. Even though we opted out of mousekeeping in our room, the room was clean when we got there, and I mean, we didn't have any issues with anything as far as a cleanliness point.
I really enjoyed the theming a lot. Yeah. I am somebody that when I go to Disney, I want like Disney in your face all the time. And even though it's not Disney, it has that very over the top, crazy aesthetic that it's very fun. If you have little kids that like that kind of big oversized characters and appreciate that kind of stuff, this resort is definitely a really good option.
Yeah, and I would say that BAM, like in the face Disney stuff, is only outside. The rooms are not super Disney themed by any means.
The rooms, I would say, feel very minimalistic. I guess you could say that. It's a very minimalistic feel. Honestly, the only thing that's really like Disney, they have a big like pop art picture above the bed frame that is like Mickey Mouse heads.
Yeah.
Other than that, it feels kind of like just your standard nice hotel.
Yeah.
Everything's really white, which is nice because it does feel very clean. They do have the like linoleum hard floor, which I like. It feels a little cleaner. So these rooms are all updated, so they look really nice. The thing with the king bed is that we actually did not have a Murphy bed in our room, obviously, because there was only one bed, which I thought that was kind of interesting, but it was nice because it actually gave the room a little bit more. Our room felt really big. For being a value resort, I will say the room was very large. So that was really nice. We didn't feel like we were crammed in or anything like that.
Yeah, the room itself was really nice. I think for me, one of the things that like kind of honestly deters me a lot from the value resorts is just that like BAM in your face Disney. Like I don't know. For me, I just kind of want to get away from Disney when I go back to the resort.
What? That defeats the whole purpose of staying on property.
But I mean, like the deluxe ones are just not. They're not super Disney. They're just not. They have.
They are.
They are, but they aren't. They don't have huge Lady and the Tramp statues all around the resort or different things like that. And so that was one thing that I really liked about the room, is that it was certainly still like Disney, but I don't know, I just kind of liked the fact that you were kind of able to escape, just kind of relax a little bit. And the room felt very homey, and I think that's what I really liked about the room itself. Yeah, I think it really depends on what your taste is. I've heard...
For example, if we stayed at Art of Animation, Mark Allen would hate that.
Yeah.
I would love it.
Yeah.
I would think it was so much fun, but I love that sort of thing. He doesn't. I think a lot of that just depends on what interests you and your family and what your taste is. Unfortunately, we were kind of go on this trip, so we didn't really get to utilize the pools.
Yeah.
I will say the pools looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Honestly, every time that we were at the resort, and we did take kind of like short breaks throughout the day, honestly, every time we were around there, the pools didn't look super busy. Even the main pool, it didn't look crazy busy. So, which I was a little shocked by, because it is a value resort. You do expect a lot more families and kids, and we actually were there during the cheer competition, so I thought there would be a bunch of like those girls there too, but it really, I don't know, it wasn't as many.
The pools never seemed super crowded.
It wasn't as many people as I thought, and maybe that's just because we were by the bowling pin pool, which is technically one of the quiet pools, but honestly, looking at the Hippy Dippy pool, which is the main pool, that one wasn't too crazy either. With that too, I have heard that noise level can be an issue at this resort. We never experienced that.
Yeah.
Again, and if you watch our vlogs, you'll know this, we are rope drop to fireworks kind of people.
Yeah.
And so we aren't really there that time of day when it is fairly busy. By the time we got to the resort, everyone was going to bed.
Yeah.
So sound wasn't really an issue for us, but if you do have like kiddos that need to go to bed early, that is something to think about, that there is going to be some level of noise.
I think especially if you have a pool view room. Yes,
I think if you have like, if you're facing the parking lot or something like that, then I think you'd be fine. Yeah. But really, honestly, it was much quieter than I thought it would be. I mean, it wasn't silent, but it was quieter than I thought.
Yeah.
They do have the free transportation as far as the buses.
Yep.
Now this is like a whole thing.
Yeah, this is where we kind of had a few issues.
The one nice thing about the bus stop is that you do not share the bus stop with other resorts. It is a Pop Century dedicated bus stop. So if you're getting on the bus, you're going straight to the parks. If you're at the parks going to your hotel, you're going straight there.
Yeah.
So that is nice. However, Pop Century is a large resort, which means there are a lot of people. So there would be times, we didn't experience it as much in the morning. Again, that's because we're crazy people and we get to the bus stop at like 6:45 in the morning. But I did notice in the evenings after the park was closing that there would be so many people.
Yeah. So
many people at the bus stop. Oh my word. Like, we walked out and it wasn't like we left right after park closing. Like, we had been floating around for a while. Yeah. But when we got out there was easily a couple hundred people in line. And I was just like, heck no, tech no. And so there was one night we opted to just do a minivan because our feet were hurting real bad and I didn't want to wait an hour or however long for a bus.
Yeah.
The buses do come fairly quick, like frequently, I will say. So that is nice. They do try to they know that there's a lot of people, so they do try to get that going. They do use the bigger like double bus with like the weird accordion looking thing in the middle, so you can fit more people. And so that is nice, but it's kind of one of those give or take. Like it was a good bus experience, but it also was kind of like, ooh.
Well, and the other thing with the buses too is that the bus stops for Pop Century were super far away.
At the parks. If you're at the park going to your resort, usually, now I don't know if they change bus stops every so often, but when we went, almost every single one, it was in the like late 20s, 30s. Yeah. It was the stop. So you'd have to walk quite a ways, which is not fun. Whereas we did notice, like with a lot of the moderate and deluxe resorts, they were a little bit closer. There were those lower numbers. Yeah. Now, granted, Pop Century is going to be connected to the Skyliner, so this might be a complete game changer. Yeah. Just from what we've been seeing and hearing with all the news, like those seem to have a pretty high capacity and they seem to be pretty continuous. So that may really greatly decrease wait times for that resort, which would be awesome. But a lot of that we're just not going to know until they actually become active. So lots of pros, lots of cons. Overall, I would say Pop Century is a great resort for families with younger children, for people who are going on a really, really quick trip, that you're planning on staying in the parks for most of the day and not utilizing your resort as much. If you're somebody that really loves that super over-the-top Disney in-your-face feel, and for people who really are trying to be very budget conscious, being a value, it is cheapest, so that is great. Those would definitely be the people that I would highly recommend Pop Century for.
I would not recommend Pop Century for someone who is going to Disney on like their honeymoon or some type of special occasion or something like that. Now, again, if you fit into the other categories where you're just trying to do it as cheap as possible, then Pop might be a great choice for you. But if you're going to Disney World for that special occasion, I would probably upgrade to at least a moderate, if not a deluxe, if that works for you.
The other people that I would not recommend this resort for, people who are wanting to take resort days.
For sure.
If you are planning on spending like a lot of time at your resort, I again would think about maybe going to a moderate or a deluxe just because there are those few extra amenities. So that would probably be the other type of person that I would not recommend Pop Century for. It's not that you can't do it, you just would be probably getting more out of it if you did splurge a little bit and stay at one of those nicer resorts.
Yeah. All right, overall verdict. Would you stay at Pop again?
I think so. I would.
I would too.
I am not super finicky when it comes to hotels. I honestly don't usually care that much.
Yeah, I would definitely stay at Pop again. You know, on a short like little weekend trip, or you know, where we're just wanting to maybe go check out like one of the Epcot festivals. By all means, stay at a value. Just to save that little bit of extra money if you're not planning on being in your room.
Alrighty guys, well that is all that we have for you today. So go ahead and leave us some comments down below.
Yeah.
What are your favorite resorts to stay at? Have you stayed at Pop Century before? What were your thoughts? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Were you kind of like, I don't know?
Or if you have questions for us about our stay at Pop.
Yeah, just let us know down in the comments. I always love answering those questions. Make sure you also give this video a big thumbs up, and be sure to hit that subscribe button to see more content like this, as well as watch our vlogs, because those have been pretty fun. Also too, if you guys did not know, I am on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I have the links down in the description below, and I think they're on my channel page as well. So make sure that you check those out. I always love to post all my fun pictures, and I've got some fun throwbacks from other trips and things on there. So be sure to check that out. We will see you next time. Bye.